All right, we're back on sports. I want to say this right now. Yes, I'm upset. I'm actually pretty tired of all the BS that I've been seeing over the weekend when it comes to sports, especially yesterday when it came to the loss with the Eagles and the Cardinals. What did I say on Twitter? I said, I'm going to wait and see how fans react between last night for the loss and today and see what's going on and see how people, because I'm going to have to address some things that some fans are saying because it's absolutely ridiculous. But I will talk about that in a minute. I want to start off with the World Series. And I told you last week, did I not? What did I say? It's become predictable. Nobody's going to care. And a number of comments were saying, how it is predictable. Some of you saying, people are just mad because it's our team. And it's not really making baseball look bad. On Wednesday, Game 1. I will put the link in the info bar, okay? Wednesday, Game 1. When the World Series is going up against virtually nothing, okay? The Ultimate Fighter, the female Ultimate Fighter was on, at 10 o'clock or something like that? That was it, all right? Baseball, the World Series, America's sport, going up against nothing, got the lowest ratings ever in baseball history. Do you know what that means? That means there's a problem. It means that nobody cares. And I know a lot of teams are going, people are going to say, well, you're just mad because my team isn't in it. And then you have people on Twitter who are saying, I'm not watching the World Series because my team isn't in it. And other people are saying, you're just jealous because our team is in it. It has nothing to do. Look, these people have to understand, especially I've seen a lot of writers, the World Series, it may have scored its lowest ratings, but who cares? It's not that big of a deal. People who are saying these type of comments understand that you need to come out of your glass houses and broaden your perspective. When something like this happens and the ratings are low, it means the sport is not as popular. It means that those contracts that they have, because that's the problem. You're not thinking of the people who've actually invested money into this. Not just the fans buying the merchandise. We're talking about shareholders. We're talking about TV contracts. We're talking about all these types of... There's a lot of things that invest, in this sport like this, in this broad of a spectrum when it comes to broadcasting. There is a problem. I'm just saying that you have to think outside the box. This is a serious problem when it comes to baseball. And if all you're saying is, well, I don't care, I just want my team to win so that my city can have something to cheer for, you're doing it wrong. It goes to show you don't care about sport. I'm just saying that this is what I told you last week. It was going to become predictable. What did I say? I said the San Francisco Giants will win this World Series. If anyone has half a brain, they know this, okay? Even though you're hoping, KC, for something different, half a brain will tell you San Francisco Giants are going to win. What's going on right now? San Francisco Giants are winning, right? They're going to win. So just get ready. Just get used to it already, all right? Just suck it up. Now, I'll put it like this. I'm going to move on for baseball because you have to understand how bad that makes baseball look. And it seems like nobody's giving a damn right now. For all these so-called fans, nobody's giving a damn. I'm just saying. Now, so I want to move on to football. Eagles, Cardinals, absolutely pathetic. I told you before this game started, what did I say? I said on Twitter, the Eagles, their running game, will possibly be shut down due to the fact the Cardinals are going to focus on LaShawn McCoy. I said, but because they're focusing so much on LaShawn McCoy, their secondary will be susceptible to the pass. So you know what to do, okay? It doesn't mean, just abandon the run. No, because for anyone who watched that game yesterday, the touches that McCoy had, given, some things, the broken down coverage and things of that, nature when it comes to the line, defense so he can run, he played pretty good. He did. When he actually got the ball started running, he actually would, average quite a bit of yardage. So he was playing really well. However, Chip Kelly doesn't care about that. We talked about this before, about play call balance. And I'm going to show you something today, because everyone who said I was wrong about that, Event, you're wrong about play call balance. He's not turning into Andy Reid, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to show you some stats today. And then we're going to have this talk again. Okay? All right. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the first half of the game. Or should I say, not even the first half of the game. The first quarter of the game. Because the refs. And we've talked about this before. And it hurt both teams. Referees. You threw, 6, 7, 8 flags? Eight penalties in the first half or something like that. 8 to 9 penalties in the first half. Okay? That hurt both teams. You have to understand. Quick draw McGraw, when you're getting so quick, I got to throw a flag. Understand that you kill momentum when it comes to both teams. And you kill excitement when it comes to the fans. You cannot get every play right. And you've noticed, anyone who watched this week, when there was a big play happening, majority, I'll say, big plays happening, wrestlers like, something's got to be wrong with that. I'm going to throw a flag and we're going to find something. I've been showing you all season. Every time a big play happens, you saw that ref when he threw the hell out of that flag. Then what happened? They had to have a conference. There was no penalty on the play. This is what they do. We can't have but so many big plays. We got to lock down. Something must have happened. There had to be a hold. There had to be a hands to the face. There had to be illegal contact. There had to be pass interference. It had to be something. That's what they do. They find something. Refs. Sometimes you just got to swallow your whistle. Don't throw your flag. Let the players play. And we're seeing it time and time again. I'm going to come back to that. Okay? Because players start mocking refs. We'll get back. We'll come back to that later. Eagles. All right? You had a chance for 21 points in the first half. Josh Huff, the first turnover, you should know by now because you played. You know how this goes. You know how the NFL goes. We've been seeing it for the previous couple of seasons. They're just going to try and punch the ball out. If they can't tackle you or you drag them for 5 yards, they're just going to try to rip the ball out. They're going to try to cause a turnover. That's what they do. We just talked about this last week, okay? Josh Huff, you have a chance for a touchdown and you don't secure the ball. That is unacceptable. I don't care if it's behind you or not. You hold, I don't care if you got to hold the ball like this. You run into that end zone when you have, I'm sorry, no. There's no excuse. I don't care if he's a rookie or not. That's not inexperience. He's not paying attention. He gave the extra effort to get the hustle so he can break the tackle to get into the end zone. Then when you're close to it, you don't secure the ball? That makes no sense. Nick Foles, all right? You're throwing interceptions. We will talk about this at a bigger rate later in this video about interceptions and Nick Foles, all right? But once again, Nick Foles, all game, and I've seen this way too many times this week about Nick Foles, everyone jumps on him, and then, but, we want to defend him. And no. We're going to clear this out today. Because Nick Foles, as far as I'm concerned, my patience is run thin with Nick Foles, as far as I'm concerned. All right? Turnovers aren't just the only thing. I'm not going to eat his lunch for those, not all the turnovers. I'm not, okay? That's not my biggest problem with Nick Foles right now. My biggest problem with Nick Foles right now is not recognizing blitzes, is not recognizing pressure. We saw all game. He had time in the pocket. Even when they blitzed, he had time. What do? He would rush a throw. There was times where players were wide open, he would miss them. There was times where players were wide open, he would throw to them, he would overthrow them, or he would underthrow them, or he would overlead them. He's not taking his time. When he has that time in the pocket, he does. But it seems like people aren't understanding that. This guy is right now falling apart. And I say this because it is consistent week after week. But he's not the only person. I'm going to come back to him, all right? But he's not the only person. Because there were a lot of bonehead plays that the Eagles, even on turnovers, I don't understand this, okay, that happened. And I understand you're trying to target, a specific player. But you make sure you have that player in your sights. You're squared up first before you try to hit him because you end up hitting your own man. Now let's talk play balance, stats. Understand this. I said not too long ago, Chip Kelly is favoring the pass. He's becoming like Andy Reid. A lot of you said, no, he's not. Don't say that. In fact, that's just wrong. I can't agree with you, really. Then why is it when LaShawn McCoy is playing quite well, we didn't even have Darren Sproles, playing quite well yesterday, Chip Kelly decided by the stats to let Nick Foles throw the ball 62 times. As you can see the stat, LaShawn McCoy, 21 carries for 83 yards. Average running back gets about 21 to 22 carries for 100 yards. So even though they focus, and this is on a focused Cards defense on the run, that's pretty good. You can't even get mad at that. And there are times when LaShawn McCoy, he would break out and he would get about 8-9 yards, and he was still mad because he felt as though he can get more. All right, but he would get tripped up or something. So you can't get on McCoy. McCoy had somewhat of a good game, okay? When it comes to actually just running the ball, not, fading or throwing screens or things of that nature. I'm just saying running the ball in general. He looked good, okay? So you can't get on him. But when you let your quarterback throw the ball 62 times in an attempt, there is a problem. Do not tell me, and that, for those who don't know, that ties the record for Randall Cunningham when he played back in the day. That is nothing to be proud of. Chip Kelly, you are throwing the ball way too much because it doesn't keep the defense honest. Like I said, they're going to focus on the run. Secondary's going to be susceptible. Yeah, you're going to throw the ball more than usual, but not 62 damn times. You don't do that. There is no way that you can sit here and say, oh, it's a balanced play. It's a balanced play calling. No way. You run the ball more. And the thing is, when they run the ball, they always try to attack the edge. They're still not running between the tackles. Why is this? Do you not have any faith in your offensive line to open up hole? Do you not? Or do you don't have it in your playbook that you can just run up the middle? Do you not use that? You just try to attack the edge. And that becomes predictable, especially when you're on the strong side. Keep saying this. Been saying it for how long? But no one listens. Apparently I'm wrong. You've got to be kidding me. But look at the stats when it comes to Nick Foles and when he decides, when he's throwing this ball, because this is ridiculous. There's no way he should be. Just look at the stats. Because I want to talk about this, because last night, a number of you said, Nick Foles, a lot of people were mad at Nick Foles. I was mad at Nick Foles. A lot of people said, he's not a good quarterback. And people were saying, yeah, well, he had 411 yards. Yeah, but he's a bad quarterback. He was responsible for a lot of points on the team, that we scored, but he's a bad quarterback. Let's look at the stats right now, before I get into that. Now, let me address this right now. People keep saying, well, he had 411 yards. When you throw the ball 62 times, you better have at least 400 yards passing. We saw this week, did we not? Quarterbacks, Roethlisberger, Brady. There was a number of them who had less attempts and had 500 yards or more. Some of them, Brady only had like 3. I believe Roethlisberger last night, though, he put on a hell of a show. So don't sit here and tell me 400 yards. Oh, yeah, 400 yards. He did great. He's a great quarterback. Don't tell me that. Because Nick Foles is not an elite quarterback. Is it possible he could be? Maybe in the future. Can he get us to a championship? Possibly. But he is not an elite quarterback right now. And you shouldn't expect that right now from him. You shouldn't. So, I'm being fair there, okay? My problem about these stats right now are quarterback rating and completions versus attempts. You also have to understand, when you were seeing 75 quarterback rating, 36 out of 62, and he hasn't been sacked, there's a problem. He wasn't that much hurried or pressured either. Like I said, we've been talking about this yesterday when we were watching the game. He was throwing the ball way too early because he thought he was pressured more than what he really was. It seems like the game was too fast for him at one point, and he tried to catch up to it when he should have slowed it down. And I'm saying on his end when it came to looking for targets. I don't understand this. I'm going to throw away the interceptions right now because those are the focus of everything. But I understand the fans are upset at his interceptions. So I will cover that simply because I know the fans are mad. But week after week, we see this, do we not? And we get the same jargon, and I want to really talk about this. Same jargon over and over. So let's hear what Nick Foles has to say about, interceptions week after week.
You talk about cleaning up the turnovers, but aren't these the same mistakes pretty much every week? The turnovers were 3-1 again today.
We just have to keep, working towards it. You can't just say, oh, that's the way it is, that's the way it's going to be. If anyone's ever played a sport, you know that you're going to go through adversity. Things are going to happen, but you have to keep pushing forward. Just because a turnover happened, the world doesn't end. You keep fighting, you keep moving, you keep learning. And, you learn from each turnover, you learn from each touchdown, you learn from each thing. So you build that database. I'm building a database. We are, as a team, we're growing through different situations to where when we see those situations again, we can do the right thing. I know the turnover is, the stat, but, we can fix that. We will continue to work towards it.
So pretty much, he has no answer for it. And this is where my patience runs thin with him, and I understand it with a lot of fans, okay? Week after week, you throw interceptions, and then you say, I'll fix it. And then the next week, you throw interceptions. And then this is your excuse. Well, it's a database, and it's a learning experience, and blah, 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 blah. No. Understand, this is the same jargon that we heard with Andy Reid. And this is what I have to ask fans, okay? Because when Andy Reid would come out, every postgame, and he would say, it's my fault, my responsibility, we got to do better, time is yours. And fans would jump all over Andy Reid for that. Nick Foles is showing you that he is saying the same thing. Andy taught him well, all right? It's something I got to fix. It's my fault. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. It's the same thing. No matter how many words, how articulate he says it, it's still the same premise. We will fix it. And then next week, you don't fix it. And it becomes a problem. When you have that same standard jargon every week, guess what? It runs things on fans because they don't believe anymore. Because you're BSing them. If you really want to show fans that, hey, look, I'm trying to fix it, go out there and practice harder. Go out there and game time decisions and make the right calls. The right targets. Sometimes you just got to do that. If you see a blitz, because for those who don't know, Nick Foles said that, he trusts Chip Kelly with his play calling and that he never questioned it. He never tried to audible. He never tried to do anything. He just went with the play. That's a problem. He's not thinking for himself. If you're going to be a quarterback in this league, you have to be able to read something and say, hey, this is the play they're calling. This isn't going to work. There's a reason quarterbacks call audibles. There's a reason quarterbacks, if they don't like something, they call timeout. There's a reason. But he's going to trust Chip. I understand it is good to have, that trust between your coach and your quarterback. But sometimes you got to stand on your own too and say, hey, look, I don't think this is going to work. What's the problem here? Like I said, fans, you jumped all over Andy Reid for Big Red for making these same type of statements week after week. It's only fair if you get on Nick Foles as well. I'm not trying to hear that all of a sudden he's exempt of this. He's not. But that's not all. Because for those who don't know, oh my God, after let's just say near the end of the press conference, Nick Foles said that the Cardinals deserve to win this game. We'll talk about that, okay? The Cardinals deserve to win this game. And apparently, some people were not very happy about that, especially one, Michael Barkan.
Hats off to Arizona. They're a really good football team. They deserve to win that game. We fought. I'm proud of those guys in the locker room, and we'll clean up our mistakes and move forward.
Oh, I had to interject on that one really quick, all right? We'll fix it, huh? We'll clean up our mistakes. Fix it again? Fix it? Same interview saying we'll fix that too? Okay, go ahead, Michael Barker. Just go ahead.
All right, thanks, guys.
Nick Foles, no, Nick, they didn't deserve to win the game. It's just that you didn't deserve to win the game. Total yards on the offense, 521.
That's how most Eagles fans are feeling since last night. If you've seen a number of tweets or what CSN showed, a lot of people, I don't believe in Nick Foles. I don't believe he's a franchise quarterback. There's a number of people who are jumping down Nick Foles' throat. And I said after the game, I said he's going to take a lot of heat for this from the fan base. He is. And as you can see, it's not just the fan base. Commentators are getting in on it. This is something that he needs to accept. This is one of those things for people who keep defending Nick Foles. Understand. Own up to it. He had a bad game. He did. You can't say, yeah, well, he had a bad game, but he did this. You can't do that. All right? His decisions impacted whether this game would, and Chip Kelly's coaching. All right? Need we talk about what happened on that goal line? All right? Both of them alone, because Nick Foles didn't have the heart to question Chip Kelly's methods. Why do you, on 3rd and goal, why are you shotgunning a run? That makes no sense. Nick Foles is what, 6'4"? 30-something pounds? You quarterback sneak it in, and you have the guys who are behind him push him from behind to get him in the end zone if he can't get in. It happens all the time. But yet, you decide to shotgun a run in. Are you serious? Pope got you onto that line. He's a heavier back. Why didn't you give him the ball again? But then I guess if you gave him the ball, then people would say, well, you don't believe in McCoy. Either way, you're still going to have somebody questioning something. But you have to understand, you do what you have to do to win the football game. You don't settle for 3 points. Defense, all right? They didn't get much pressure to front seven, but I'm okay with that. I am. They didn't get, they didn't perform like we thought they would. But they did get Carson Palmer a couple times. You hit him a couple times. They touched him up. They did. Okay, so I'm okay with the defense. When it comes to the front seven. However, that secondary, Kerry Williams, you got torched, son. I don't understand what's going on. A number you got torched out there. There is no way at the end of a game, at 3rd and long, you are still 3rd and long. You don't let the guy get behind you. You don't. Simple as that. There's no way. As a secondary, you have one job. Don't let the guy get behind you. And he did. And that's what cost us the game. Because you decided to kick a damn field goal instead of going for it when you should have. 3rd and goal, shotgun run. What the hell? It's beyond. It's mind-numbing. It's face-melting. I cannot believe people are okay with that. And there's people saying, I'm okay with the field goal because you got to take your time. No. This is about winning games. It's all or nothing in that situation. All right? Because you've already been screwed out of a number of points or takeovers or penalties. And Jeremy Maclin, he's the crash test dummy of the team. Because he's getting racked up. I mean, this guy put on a hell of a game yesterday. He did. He showed he can be the guy. But there was a number of times he was still wide open and Foles missed him. He would have had more stats. He probably had more touchdowns too. But instead, you decide you want to keep throwing to Cooper, which makes no sense. All right? Cooper should not be the target. He shouldn't. He's still a fourth string wide receiver. He is. All right? That pass he had earlier, that long pass they had, okay, he got open, you throw it to him. He wasn't the target. He wasn't the primary target, but he got open. All right? But when you target Cooper, and if you notice, targeting Cooper equals interceptions. Stop. You don't have to get him in the corner and try to throw it up in the end zone. You don't have to do that all the time because he's tall. You have Matthews. You have a number of people who can do that. But if you have balanced play calling, you won't have to worry about doing those things. Seriously. If you keep McCoy out there as a threat and say, hey, look, he's a free man or he's a blocker, or you bump and run, you let him block a little, roll off, dump it to him, you'd be amazed what he can do. I just don't understand the play calling of the Eagles at this point. And I don't know, man. I'll play this. I can't take anything away from the Cardinals. I'm not going to say they deserve the win because we clearly had that in the back. The first half should have been it. 21-0. All right, no, it was 21-7, something like that. That should have been it. All right? And then move on from there. But, of course, we saw those turnovers, and you can't do anything about that at that time. You got to put it out of your mind and keep going. But when you have the same mistakes consistently keep going and going throughout the game, people are going to remember that. People aren't going to remember Foles threw for 411 yards. No. People are going to remember Foles had, 17 out of 20 or something like that? He scored 17 out of 20 points, so you throw the ball. You're not going to remember that. Because of the consistency that he showed. Or should I say lack of consistency. It just goes to show you that this becomes more of a factor every time as week goes on. You have to understand that it's going to get tougher. We got Texas next week. Don't ever take the Texans, lightly. J.J. Watt is going to be a problem. So if Nick Foles thought that pressure that was on him this week was tough, wait till next week. And if he throws interceptions again, are we still going to hear the same thing? You're damn right we will. He'll have to fix it. We're still growing. We'll see the same people still defend him. If we win, the same people defend him will say to the people who hate what Nick Foles did this week, will say, how you like him now? Where are you at now? That's what we're going to hear. It's the same thing every week between the jargon of the players and the jargon of the fans. But yet, everyone's a diehard fan, right? Everyone should just relax, right? We got this, right? No. It's this simple. We should have won that game. And once again, you notice every time we play the Cardinals, this happens. It's just the Cardinals every time. But I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me, but you got to suck it up. Now we got to get ready for Texans. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit around and see these people on Twitter run their damn mouths, all right, about how this is not that big of a deal, and you hate Foles, then you love him, and you won't give him enough credit. But don't give me that, man. This is a team sport. Quarterback, if you win, quarterback gets praised. If you lose, quarterback takes the fall. You know how this works. Stop defending the guy, especially you can't defend what happened yesterday. 62 attempts at passing, you look at the coach. 62 attempts at passing, bad running, especially in critical times, you look at the coach and you look at the quarterback for not calling the audible. I don't know, man. It's just sad. But let's move on to other NFL news because Carolina Panthers, you were always on my TV screen. Why? I have no idea, because you do exactly everything what Carolina Panthers fans said to me last week. Yeah, they're playing good against Seattle, but just like in Carolina Panthers fashion, they'll blow it in the second half and let Seattle win. And that's what they did. Every time you're on my TV, I think it's the first time you've been on my TV, though, that they show here. First time that you weren't taken off for lack of competitiveness. And now you're going to be on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, I'm sure that'll go well for you. Short week. You can't beat the team, in a regular week. Now you got a short week. And I hate to get on Carolina fans, but I was watching that game yesterday, and what did I say on Twitter? I said, I don't know how fans can put up with this. If the Eagles play like this, this city would burn. There is no way. And fans are, of course, Carolina fans, they were upset, and they have a right to be. I don't understand how you can have Cam Newton, and I just thought it was really funny. It's really cocky of him, too. All right? He runs for the first down. He gets up and he poses. He does like this for the first down. But then you realize he didn't get the first down, right? So then what does he do afterwards? They run another play. He runs for the first down. He gets it this time. It's right afterwards. He gets it afterwards, then does like this afterwards. Stop with the taunting. Just play football. I understand that you're young and you got money and you're talented. I get it. Stop taunting. Your team is losing. Look at your record. Look at the scores. You could do more. And for anyone who saw at the end of that game, Cam was just like, look, I'm throwing it to the ground. Throwing it to the ground. It was almost a safety at the end, but he was just like, I'm just done. He's done. He was done. He just quit. That's how I see it. He quit. And for a guy who you're supposed to be leaning on, I'm sorry, but he's got to, in that situation against Seattle's defense, you want to call yourself Superman, you have to act like Superman. And he didn't. I understand he can only do but so much, but this is Cam Newton we're talking about. So there's no excuse. None whatsoever. Everyone has a bad day, football-wise, I understand, but in that situation, this is what they pay you for. This is what they do. Okay? No excuses. But you'll be playing on Thursday. Tonight, we got what? Dallas? Was it Dallas and Redskins? I don't expect much. I expect the Redskins to get routed. There's talk about RG3 coming back so soon. I really hope not. I really hope not. That would be a mistake. Seriously, just Dallas. I think Dallas is going to beat the Redskins. They're going to win tonight. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think they'll win tonight. We had a number of blowouts. Like I said, New England blowout. The Jets. What's going on? Geno Smith had 3 completions to the Buffalo Bills. That's ridiculous. Like I said, 3 completions. I don't know what's going on with the Jets. Doesn't matter if you get Percy Harvin or not. Whether he's punching people in the locker room or not. Don't matter. It's just ridiculous. I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. Was it the Saints? They played against, was it Green Bay? And they looked pretty damn good against Green Bay. It's amazing how Aaron Rodgers had that one rush to the right, and they kept showing it last night. Oh, he hurt his leg. Oh, he kept favoring his knee. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The guy ran like, what, 7 yards? 7 yards? You better stretch that out, buddy. Seriously, I'm not trying to hear that. All types of things going on, and as usual, you better discount, double-check those passes. That defense. The Saints looked good last night. But the Saints have looked like this all season. It's just, the problem with the Saints was, near the end of the season, near the end of their games, they would give it up. But they were consistently there. They were consistently a threat throughout all their games instead of that. I don't know. Like I said, I want to move on for the refs. I want to talk about the refs. I feel I've been rambling too much. I want to talk about the refs. Okay? Because of everything that has happened with these flags, and I've shown you time and time again, week after week, it seems like players now are expressing their disgust with the refs. And for those who don't know what happened with the Ravens in Cincinnati, Perfect, that's right, makes a tackle and taunts the refs by throwing his own flag towards himself off the tackle. When you have players mocking refs, you know there's a problem now with the flags. But Cincinnati shouldn't be talking because they got over on the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. That big play to Steve Smith, clearly, he did not push him. Unless your fingertips are all of a sudden going to make a guy fall on the ground, that's a flop. There is no way. That should have been a touchdown. The Ravens got screwed out of their game yesterday. It's sad to see. And a lot of people said, because of that flop, they thought they were watching the NBA. But you know what? There's another flop that was even worse this week. And for those who don't know, the Griffin Force flop of the week, that's right, goes to, once again, this is 2 weeks in a row now, to college players.
Freshman Jamal Adams right here. He gives him a little bit of a shoulder. Adams, for a freshman, pretty good.
Speaking of flopping, the NBA season, as we know, is back, and I will put it like this. All right, I'm sure we will see a lot of flopping this year, all right, on the NBA. But I want to talk about the Sixers real quick. And I want to put it like this. For those who think that the Sixers are going to make some noise, no. Understand, last season, the way last season ended, we'll start this season. The Sixers are so bad that their last preseason game against the Pistons, they didn't even show it on TV. That's right, they didn't even show it. So it goes to show you, this is something that's going to be bad. Mike Carter-Williams will not be back in time just yet. He will be back, though. It won't be too long, but it's not going to matter. The Sixers are going to start their tank, and they're going to keep losing to get better draft picks. Do not expect the Sixers to make any noise this season. I'm telling you that now. I will be watching the games. I'm sure it'll be fun to cover. I really feel it will be, all right? But, as you know, because the NBA season has started, LeBron Center on ESPN has started. They've already started today. I already posted a picture on Twitter already about it, all right? The real deal, it's coming. Yeah, I bet it is. The fact is, if Chicago can stay healthy, this conference is Chicago's to win. If they can stay healthy. If Derrick Rose can stay healthy, they may just beat Cleveland. I'm just saying that now. I know a lot of high expectations for Cleveland, but if anyone's been watching these preseason games, there's a lot of problems on defense. There is. Offense, of course, isn't a problem because it looks like Miami Heat 2.0, of course. Defense, completely different, situation. So I'm just letting you know that now. Teams are going to play hard. The West looks really tough this year. Steve Nash is out again. I don't know why you still got Steve Nash out there. I mean, he just needs to retire. I don't understand. Of course, Kevin Durant's hurt. They're going to try to run it with Westbrook for a while. we will see how that works. I don't know if that's going to work, as a shooting point guard. I don't even want to call him that. I just want to call him a shooting guard at this point. Got it? I thought he did. Anyways, I was just waiting. Anyways, but the West looks really strong this year. I see the Spurs, once again, being on top, unless OKC can do something. I see the Jazz going up a notch. I see Golden State going up a notch. Houston I think will go up a notch. I think the Lakers are going to go down a notch this year because of the fact that even though Kobe is back, you're still missing some pieces. I still feel you're missing some pieces. So I really wouldn't look into that. I'm really interested to see how the Charlotte Hornets are going to play this year since they're back. I want to see what happens. I don't see much going on with the rest of the NBA. Boston, I don't think will be a factor. The Sixers will not be a factor. I don't think Atlanta will be much of a factor. Atlanta has this thing where they get something and they build some type of steam and then they fall apart. For those who don't know, the Sixers are looking into getting Teague, I believe. Yeah, man. I don't know. This NBA season for at least the East does not look well. You may have about 2 or 3 maybe competitors, if that. I don't even see that Miami Heat really doing much damage. I would say, because ESPN already rated the Heat, I believe they rated them, 5th place this year? I don't think the Heat will be in 5th, maybe 4th or possibly 3rd, but I don't see them dropping down to 5th. That's crazy. Just because they lost LeBron. This is what I mean. ESPN, LeBron Center. This is what they do. Just saying. So, I want to move on to hockey. And I have to talk about this real quick, the Flyers. I think this is the funniest thing I've seen. I've never seen commentary so biased in my life. Last week, for those who don't know, I have to talk about this. The Flyers beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. Did they not? In their own home again. And apparently, the commentary, Mike Milbury, he's got a problem with this. And apparently, he's not going to give any of us Flyers fans or the team itself any type of credit.
Flyers settled into a really good, solid game.
On paper, there's no way that Philadelphia should beat Pittsburgh, not like this on their own turf. There's just no way. They've done it again. Pittsburgh is going to have to really buckle down to get ready against them.
And this was
on paper. You want to talk about paper, Milbury? Let me tell you something, okay? On paper, now the Flyers are 10-1-1 in Pittsburgh's house. How did you just miss that stat? You just thought that, this is just something that just not happened. It's a freak of nature. It's an act of God. Is that what you think? No, the Flyers went in there and did what they do when they usually go into Pittsburgh. So, I'll tell you now, Penguins fans, rent is due. It's due. That's it. Bottom line. Okay? But for this guy to not give the credit, the Flyers any credit, to not give any, you gotta be kidding me. If they're gonna throw this all on Pittsburgh, you can't throw it all on Pittsburgh. That is just ridiculous. But this is the type of commentary that we're seeing these days. What happened to professionalism? What happened to being neutral and sticking to the facts and then making, your decisions then? For you to go off the handle and say, on paper, this should have never happened, blah, blah. Are you serious? See, this is why you can't... This is the same guy also who called, Team Russia during the Olympics? He called them Eurotrash, which is ridiculous because, as you know, this is not about rivalry in the Olympics. The Olympics is about togetherness and to get away from politics, and you go and do something like that. But yet he's still on TV, isn't he? Man... It's killing me how this guy can get paid to say such a thing without doing his homework. Well, on paper, if you look at the roster, yes, because that's all we should look at. If we're looking at rosters, then a lot of teams would lose every night. If that's the case. We should have lost against Detroit too then, huh? If you're looking on paper. It just goes to show you how ignorant some commentators can be, or possibly, maybe he's been doing it so long that he's just phoning it in at this point. You never know. Anyways, it needs to be cleaned up. NBC, I should say, if anything, not the NHL. NBC, this represents you. Right here, this represents you. You understand that, NBC Sports? All right, I'm done for today. I could keep going, but I'm sure I've blabbed enough. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. If something else comes up, I may do another sports video. I've been having some fun as of late with sports. I'm out.